We're going to go ahead and get started with our request for cancellation of taxes. Today's date is May 14th, 2025. The time is 11 a.m. In attendance are Commissioners Eberline, Duncan, and Matari. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Introductions. We have Dyson Savage heading up the Assessor's Office, Jill Smith representing the Treasurer's Office, and Terry Johnston representing the Board of County Commissioners' Office. Let's go ahead and swear in the participants. Are both of you going to participate today? Okay, so we'll have you sworn in. And just raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give in the issue pending before the Board of County Commissioners shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Just say I do. Okay. All right, public comment. Okay, we'll go on to our first item. It's a request for adjustment to reflect the circuit breaker for AIN 144149 Sasher. And, okay. Do you want to speak first, or?
Yes, and you'll need to turn your microphone on. All you do is have to push the button and we'll pick you up. Yeah. Oh. You can just leave it on. There you go.
So for 2023, I went in and got the circuit breaker and everything. And this is the first time I had a property that I purchased. Okay, that's the first time as a homeowner. So everything to do with, property tax reductions or homeowners exemption and escrow accounts and all this kind of stuff. That was all new to me. And then when I came in the following year, I managed to pull that off the first year. I came in the following year, and I was confused, and I think I confused the teller. And instead of talking about requesting the circuit breaker again, I believe I probably mentioned the homeowner's exemption, and then her response, of course, was, well, you don't need to do that every year. So I thought, oh, okay, so I'm good. So I left, and then I didn't discover this until, of course, later when I got the notice from the mortgage company that my escrow account was, lacking because I didn't get that reduction. So it's just, maybe a senior moment on my part, just a confusion at the desk. And, the intention from the beginning was to go ahead and get this circuit breaker. So it was pretty simple. Not much more to say than that.
All right. Well, thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes. What kind of financial hardship is it for you to pay last year's taxes?
Both my wife and I are on Social Security, so it's just get by on it. So it does help to have our mortgage was prior to the change because of the escrow shortage was $800, and so in the 800, and then it jumped up over 900 now because of not receiving the reduction.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anyone else want to add any comment to that? No? Thoughts?
You all usually make in the record whether or not you qualify for the circuit breaker.
Yeah. So according to the documents, he did qualify in 2023 and has turned in paperwork for 2025 and does qualify as well.
That's just good for the record.
Yeah. So.
You were getting it before.
Yep.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure too, because again, we can cancel taxes in hardship and mistake on the county. So I just want to make sure that the record shows that it's a hardship without going through the hardship process. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think we want to reduce it by $730 and reduce the solid waste to $44. So if you want to make a motion.
I move that we apply the PTR benefit of 730 and reduce solid waste to 44.
For AIN 144149.
Yes.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline? Aye. Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next up, item 2, request for adjustment to reflect circuit breaker for AIN 223062 Thomas. Do we have the property owner here? On the telephone? No?
Ms. Thomas has been, Jill Smith, Chief Deputy Treasurer for the record. Ms. Thomas has been working with Amy in our office who manages the warrant of distraint process. She came to our attention because she's in imminent danger of the sale of her mobile home. She neglected to fill out the paperwork for PTR. She absolutely qualifies. She makes less than $12,000 a year, and she's asking for a reduction of taxes to reflect that discount.
And that would
She's on our list.
And that would be 1,500 in reductions and solid waste down to 44. And then, of course, there's penalties and interest, so we would waive that too. You want to take a stab at it?
Sure. So again, this person did qualify for 21 and 22 and now 25. And so are these amounts for 23 and 24?
I think that. So she only owes 24.
Okay. All right, so we're just making the PTR for 2024, and I move that we cancel penalties and interest and reduce it by 1,500 plus 44 for solid waste.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries.
And
Thank
that is for AIN 223062.
Okay, next up, item 3, request for adjustment, VA disability, AIN 330161, and it's O'Brien, Ms. O'Brien?
Yes. I moved here in 2020. I didn't qualify because it was like mid-year. So starting 2021 up until present day, I filed an exemption every year. For whatever reason, it didn't apply for 2024, so I'm asking that that be amended to reflect my exemption.
Any questions?
No, just what kind of hardship does this?
So I'm on a fixed income because I'm 100% TMP through the VA and I get SSDI. My mortgage went from $1,600 to almost $2,000 a month, and I have 2 children at home.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where she was getting the 100% VA disability, and then the legislature changed the rules on that, where you didn't have to apply, I guess, every year, and then you apply once, and you're on the list, and there was some transition issue there with respect to that you thought you were on the list,
Yes,
but you weren't on the list.
right.
Somebody moved the cheese.
Yep. Yep. So we just need to confirm that you are indeed on the list moving forward, so this issue doesn't come up again.
I believe I was put on
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Yes, for 2025.
So if you want to make a motion.
Yes, I move that we approve the adjustment for the VA disability for AIN 330161.
Second.
Could you, Shelley or Dyson, confirm it's the full 1,500? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye. Motion carries.
Just so the record's clear, if that was not heard, it is for the 1,500 amount. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, item 4, homeowners exemption entry missed, AIN 350284 Carlson, and we probably can do the number 5 as well, right? Would that be?
Yes.
So that's homeowners exemption, entry missed, AIN 311524 Moss.
Yeah, in both of these instances, these AINs and individuals did qualify for the homeowner's exemption, and the entry was missed. In one case for AIN 350284, it was for the occupancy, and the other one was for the primary role.
Questions? Motion?
I move that we approve homeowner's exemption for AINs 350284, Party of Carlson, and AIN 311524, Party of Moss.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye. Motion carries. That's items 4 and 5. Item 6.
Commissioners, could the treasurer's office ask going forward, we discussed, I think at the last tax cancellation meeting, that if the application had been submitted prior to, I think, the first Monday in July, July 2nd, something like that, they get the HTR benefit that the legislature has recently put into effect, the homeowner's tax relief. And you, as a board, had agreed that if their application had been submitted in time, we were going to give them that benefit. For our office, it would make it easier when these homeowners exemptions have been missed, if they could put the date on the agenda so that we're not having to research all of them. It wasn't too bad this week, there weren't very many, but we don't want to have to go into every homeowners exemption to see if they would have qualified. So if that date could just be added, even if only for the ones that were received before the July deadline, and on the agenda for us, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, we can submit that with the paperwork when we submit the cancellation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Item 6, agricultural exemption adjustment, AIN 120517, Schneidmiller Land Company.
So this is an exemption going back 3 years. This was a mapping issue. So when the parcel was mapped, there was a slight name change, which caused the agricultural exemption to fall off when it shouldn't have. It should have remained on the parcel because there was no actual change of ownership. We're still working through this issue. It's becoming less frequent, but sometimes we have these, and we want to go back as far as we can because they did qualify for the agricultural exemption.
Is this one that's going to cause a problem that we have to let the clerk's office know?
It is going back, so we'll have to inform them for sure.
Okay.
And that's tax years 22, 23, and 24.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I move that we approve the agricultural exemption for AIN 120517 Schneidmiller Land Company for the years of 2022, 23, and 24.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye. Motion carries. Next up, item 7, valuation adjustment, AIN 350323, Allen.
So on this, we billed them for the occupancy in November. This was because we had a certificate of occupancy at the time, but the homeowner's application showed that they hadn't occupied it until actually December. So this is to cancel 1 month of that assessed value.
And are we able to catch that better? Because I know we had one before, so I don't know if it was through BOE or what, but I just remember that we had talked about getting the occupancy as close as possible.
Ideally, this is one of the reasons that we try not to rely on the certificate of occupancy is because just because the city's issued it and said it's done doesn't mean that it's actually occupied. So we try and rely on the homeowner's exemption. But sometimes it comes down to there are cars in the driveway, it looks lived in, there's a certificate of occupancy, and we're compelled to put it on the occupancy roll. But then we get later documentation. So like in this case, we get a homeowner's exemption, which is much harder proof that it was actually occupied by the person, and that comes in December.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Commissioner Duncan, I think what you're referring to was the proration. Like if you moved in on the 31st, you're still paying for the whole month.
Yeah.
Which is a different issue than just not knowing when they moved in.
Okay. So did the proration issue get cleared up?
Not as of yet. Our system is still on the monthly proration. It's going to take we're not sure how much coding to be able to do that successfully and accurately in the system.
Okay.
So we're going to have to explore that. Probably post annual roll, we're focused on getting primary notices out right now.
Sure. No problem. Okay.
Motion?
Move that we approve the valuation adjustment for AIN 350323, Allen.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries. Next up, item 8, property removed, demolished, AIN 107608, Party of Warren.
So the warrant of distraint was returned from the sheriff and was deemed uncollectible by the treasurer. The owner has since passed, and the home was demolished in late 2024.
So all the evidence is gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unless there's any questions, we just do a motion.
Sure. I move that we approve the property removal from the roll for AIN 107608.
Second.
Commissioner Eberline?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chair Matari?
Aye, motion carries. Next up, public comment. Hearing none. 11:15, meeting adjourned.